Oklahoma, my original home state, is taking another L, more specifically Tulsa. This story is short. I had to tell y'all this because I'm embarrassed. It's silly. As a black man, this hurts me to my heart every time I see something like this, especially almost everything I talk about got to do with kids. So when you see the thumbnail, you already know what's about to happen. Let me give you guys a disclaimer because this story had very limited information.
Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, new website articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer.
And the website I'm using is tulsapolice.org. So thank you for this particular article. We're going to take a look at this dude on my screen. Now, let me get this guy's face up on my screen. Tyrese Williams. Tulsa police have arrested a man who has been charged with murder Tuesday following the death of his infant son. I am a concerned father. I want y'all to remember why I talk about these stories, because I was a young father also. But guess what? I was ready to be a father emotionally, physically, spiritually, just not financially. But I loved being a father, and being in fatherhood was everything I dreamed of. Watching my baby, changing my baby, loving my baby, watching my baby smile and cry and fuss and sleep and crawl and learn to walk and talk and watch their little teeth grow in and eat different foods. And I loved everything about fatherhood. And now my kids are pretty much grown. My daughter will be grown next month. So this hurts my heart. Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you know this fool, get mad at me if you want to for speaking on this. Call me a sellout or whatever you want to call me. I am tired of people like this putting a stain on our community. Tired of it. It needs to stop. It's one thing for these young men, young brothers, young men to be doing things to themselves. It's a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother ball game. And I feel even more agitated by it when I see that they become bullies to little babies. I'm sorry, that is inexcusable and it can never be forgiven. I want to make sure that I'm clear about that. On August the 11th, one day after my birthday, August the 11th, so that would have been Monday actually, at around 4 a.m., officers responded to a domestic violence call at the Eagle Point Apartments near 71st Street and Sheridan. I'm kind of roughly familiar with that area. When officers arrived, they found a 1-month-old baby, 1-month-old boy, in cardiac arrest in need of medical treatment. The infant was rushed to the hospital where doctors discovered that this baby, 1 month old, 30 days. To put that in the proper perspective. Listen at this because this gets graphic really quick. The doctors discovered that this baby, 1 month old, had a right femur fracture in the leg, a right humerus fracture, a left clavicle fracture, a left broken arm, a right pneumothorax skull fracture. I don't even know what a right pneumothorax. I don't even know what is a pneumothorax. I might not even have pronounced that right. That's a big old word. How do you pronounce pneumothorax? Oh, pneumothorax. Thank you. Thank you, Google. So, a right pneumothorax, a skull fracture, and a deformed skull. The baby is still developing a skull at that young of age. Doctor said all injuries appear to be from trauma. We don't have a name. We don't have a face. If somebody knows him or knows the baby or knows the mom, you can email me a picture, theafcmatters@gmail.com. If the baby is not existent anymore, it is of no risk and no harm to pay tribute and homage to the baby. And we could just show the face and say RIP and send our tributes to that baby's soul. Okay? So if y'all had that information, send it to me. Through the investigation, detectives determined that the infant's mother, father, and another person were inside the home at the time of the incident. Okay? Keep that in mind. The infant's father, Tyrese Williams, this fool on my screen, claimed he was holding the baby when he was pushed down the stairs, which is what caused the injuries. However, detectives recovered video from the doorbell camera, which showed the father, detectives recovered video from the doorbell camera, which showed the infant's mother and the other individual leaving the residence. Video from the doorbell camera showed Williams leaving the apartment with an empty liquid bottle. The video also showed Williams later entering the apartment alone. Then audio from the camera captured Williams talking to the infant, followed by 7 loud thuds. THUDS. 7 loud thuds. Several neighbors and witnesses were interviewed in this investigation. On August the 12th of 2025, the district attorney's office charged Tyrese Williams with first-degree murder, which would prove intent. He was taken into custody without incident. This is an arrest, not a conviction. We get that, but I'm just telling you, the evidence is damning, and you notice how he gave a story, but then it looks like the circumstantial evidence proves something and shows something completely different. Think about how crazy this is. Without cameras, without video, without recordings, where would we be? Think about that.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
I know this baby had a name and he had a face. Y'all do me a favor. In order to share in the memory of this baby, please click that thumbs up and make this go viral. Maybe more people can see it in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Maybe if y'all know, y'all reach out to me, to afcmatters@gmail.com. We'll verify the information before we post it, but I would love to at least have that to at least give us an idea of who this baby was, because we believed his life mattered. His life mattered, okay? So please hit that thumbs up and share this. Only got one news video.
A Tulsa man is charged with beating to death his own 5-week-old baby boy. Thanks for joining us. I'm Craig Day.
And I'm Lori Fulbright. News on 6's Ryan Gillen tells us that child crisis investigators work some tough cases, and this one is right at the top of the list. Ryan?
Craig and Lori, these cases can take a toll on them, but they can't stop because children's lives and safety are at stake.
Prosecutors charged Tyrese Williams with first-degree murder by child abuse. Detectives say Williams told police he was pushed down the stairs while holding the baby, but investigators say doorbell video shows Williams going into the apartment alone. They say audio from a doorbell camera caught him talking to the baby and then 7 loud thuds. Police believe Williams was beating the baby against the wall. The baby had broken bones, including a leg, an arm, and a fractured skull and internal bleeding. The baby was in cardiac arrest when police got there and later died.
It's a pretty tough case. The child had been injured severely in whatever occurred in that home before we got there.
The Child Crisis Unit has 7 people and handles about 1,800 cases a year. They are emotionally tough to work, but they do it because they care about protecting children.
Everybody in this unit is here for the kids. A lot of the stuff that we see is pretty horrible and pretty traumatic, but the people that are here want to be here, and they do it for their own personal reasons, but it's for the kids in the city of Tulsa to make sure that they're getting the justice they deserve.
She says there is help for people in violent situations.
All of our patrol officers, every officer in the police department should carry victim rights card, and it has a lot of information on there for resources for people who need them. There's always somebody willing to help.
Williams is currently in jail and being held without bond. Lori?
Ryan, thank you. If you suspect abuse, the Child Abuse Network number is 918-624-0200.
Give your child a great head.
Of course, 918 is the Tulsa area code. So, yeah. Again, the story does not add up because I believe that it is false. The information that he provided is false. And if not for video camera footage and information and sounds and people reporting what they know, we would have gotten a muddled story. So I'm definitely glad that we can actually start to get some justice. And look, if you can't deal with the consequences of what you do, stop lying. Stop doing it. Stop making yourselves fathers and parents when you really don't want to be that. You're not qualified. Again, I think this stands to prove. How old was this man? Let me see again. Tyrese is, let me see if I can find out what his age is, because I'm assuming he's in like his younger 20s. Let me see. 24 years old, and I was right. I want y'all to also remember this. When I had my daughter, I was his age. I was 24 years old when I had my daughter. Matter of fact, I want to do something that I normally do not do on the show. I just think this is an appropriate time because I want to make this real for the people who are watching. I know my daughter won't mind this. She'll probably think it's funny. She's probably going to think her daddy is crazy. I'm going to show you guys a picture of my baby. Y'all give me a second. And I'm going to show you what I actually looked like at 24 years old with my daughter. Actually, I like this one a little bit better. This one's actually a little bit closer to 24. Hold on. Let me get this one. Y'all mind if I do that real quick? Y'all bear with me. Why is it turned that way? Why is it turned that way? There we go. This is your boy, DJ Just Jay, at 24 years old as a father. Now, does that not look like I love my baby? Taking care of my baby? You can only tell so much by a picture. But I took my child when my mom was still teaching to the school, so everywhere I went, my daughter went with me. This is also me. I'll share this with you also, because my baby will be grown this year. This is me as a father at 24 years old. I am currently 42 years old. Okay? My daughter loves me more now than she ever has, and I love my baby to the death, to life. I love my baby to life. Why do I show that? And why am I going to publicize that? Because, again, I want you guys to remember that I'm speaking from personal experience. Men do not need to be fathers under the age of 30 years old. Most of them are not emotionally, physically, spiritually, emotionally are not ready to be fathers under the age of 30 years old. It doesn't mean that they will be ready by 30. It just means there is a better chance that they will be ready by 30 years old, especially financially. By the time a man is 30 years old, he should at least be able to provide for himself. Most men between the ages of 18 and 30 years old are not prepared to take care of themselves, especially between 18 and 24. That is a statistical fact, right? There's always going to be the anomaly, and you could probably always name Jack, Jill, and John, and whoever the hell else that probably don't fit that mold. But for the majority of people, this is what needs to happen. We need to start putting children away until we are prepared to have them. This fool might have actually ended up being a good father at a later time when he's more mature and then been through some things and learned to figure out life. At 24, his ass ain't ready. Clearly he's not ready, and he's more than likely going to do a life sentence or worse. To that baby, to the unnamed, unknown baby, R.I.P. R.I.P. If we get a picture, if we get a face and name, we'll show it later, okay? But thank you guys so much for listening to my particular personal part of that story and sharing this and hoping that maybe this will wake some people up, okay? Thank you.